Long-term viewers of the channel will likely recognize a box that has to come from Noble Knight because of this fantastic paper. Well, it's true. It did come from Noble Knight. It's not a recent acquisition, though. I actually got this a few months ago, and I recorded this unboxing then. And then didn't upload it to the channel because of a lot of things getting in the way. Look at all this paper. This is fantastic paper. Anyway, what's inside? Well, it's a little awkward doing this with one hand, as always, but I'm really glad that Noble Knight does this and keeps everything firmly in place. Plus the plastic. Well, we've talked about that before. So, clearly you're seeing Undying, and under that is Headspace. And under Headspace are accessories to go with Headspace, such as a stress tracker and tokens and dice, because why not? We'll talk about Headspace first, I guess. First we'll just take a look at the print copy, and then we'll look at the tracker, and then we'll finish off with Undying. Alright, what can I tell you? Headspace I got quite a while ago when I picked up the Veil and when I picked up the Sprawl. I thought I'd look at the trilogy of existing cyberpunk games at that time, in the tradition of Powered by the Apocalypse. I would say that of those three games, the Sprawl, the Veil, and Headspace, the one that goes furthest with its innovations, especially as far as Powered by the Apocalypse is concerned, would be Headspace. And that's symbolized by this double-headed icon on the tokens and on the dice and on this stress tracker. Now, I'm not actually going to take it fully out of the plastic because I'm not sure when I'm going to play the game physically for real, and I just want to keep it all together. I don't want to mislay the tokens or something. But one of the things that this does is incorporate what makes Headspace special into a very visual, easily seen accessory for the table. And what Headspace does is it actually turns metaplay, which a lot of people complain about, into an asset, in that all the characters share headspace. They share consciousness. So the shared experience of the players around the table can translate directly into how situations will be handled by Headspace characters. So that's really quite clever. You can see that it notes Headspace is shared consciousness cyberpunk. It comes in a digest size, which is becoming traditional for games in this vein of games. And it has a moderate page count. If you're new to this style of gaming, it may take a little work to get through. If you've already been playing some Powered by the Apocalypse games, it'll take a little work noting how it's different, forging new habits. For all its small size, the book is actually quite heavy, indicating its high-quality, glossy paper. And there is a balance toward text rather than art, which for me is a good thing. I'm finding I'm liking less and less art in my game books these days, especially when I don't really appreciate the art style. Headspace is quite easy to read and transmits its concepts well. It remains to be seen how quickly a group could adapt to it, especially if they have worked very hard to compartmentalize their own secrets and things. But the game does work toward making that a core play experience. Now, Undying is a different kind of experience. For one thing, it's diceless, and I think we could look at Undying as, what if we could play Vampire the Masquerade without the system making us fail all the time? I think that's really where this comes from, and it does a pretty interesting job of it. I actually prefer dice to be involved, but I'm very curious about how games approach diceless mechanics, and that was the primary reason why I picked up Undying. I didn't know much beyond that when I picked it up, and I don't know much beyond that now, having not read it completely, certainly not with any depth. But what I was surprised to learn was that in the nature of feed, there is an effort made to have the game be malleable in the hands of the group so that it can lean toward whichever take on the vampire mythos you might prefer. That said, the game's art direction at the very least sends a very strong message about which sources of inspiration were important to the authors. So I'm not really sure how well it can accomplish that goal of fitting individual groups' individual takes on vampirism, but learning such things is what actual play is for. Alright, there you have it. Headspace and Undying, my copies from Noble Knight Games.